Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, two former first-round picks, in fact, #1 overall picks, that have found success in another city after the original team that drafted them moved on from them. We're going to get into some tape, and we're going to look at just how rare that is. Now, just looking at the last 15 years, I believe it's really only Ryan Tannehill is the only quarterback who's a first-round pick, goes somewhere else, and as a starter, ends up having success and making the playoffs. So 15 years goes by and only one dude does it, and now this year we've got two dudes doing it in the playoffs at the same time in the same year in the same conference. Let's actually go to the tape and see why that is. First play, this is the Rams in the divisional round. Matt Stafford going back to Detroit. Jared Goff playing against his old team, getting the win, and this is a sick ball here, bringing Amon-Ra across in motion. We're going heavy play action. So this starts in like a quarter shell here. And what you're going to see is it's pretty interesting because you've got 1, 2, 3 big guys. This is a linebacker type, and then this is actually a linebacker type or defensive end type. So whether they treat this as a 4-down or an odd front, I'm not sure. But they're playing Tampa out of it, and this is actually the guy that's going to push to number 3. So right here, when I say number 3, we've got 1, 2, and this back going left is going to end up being number 3. As far as the defense is concerned. So we're going to go play action here. And this is a counter play action. This is different than just regular drop back. See this guard pull? So this gives the linebackers a little bit more to step up on. In fact, if I draw a line right here where the linebackers are roughly, that line's going to move. But look at on that 50, that linebacker 53 takes like 3 steps up. That's going to be relevant. We're holding number 50 for a second. And that's going to give Goff some time for this clear out to happen down the middle of the field and for Josh Reynolds to get some width, get almost outside edge of these numbers on this dig, because you'll see if this ball's not thrown exactly where it is right now, this thing's getting tipped and probably going the other way. So look at this ball placement, but look at everybody rallying. This guy's coming across the field reading Jared's eyes. This Mike linebacker got here, he's not going to stay there forever, he's going to flip. We got a corner coming over as well. So this is a tight window. Look at this from the other side. Great grab, but they're doing everything they can to show run. This is why when you hear people on TV say like Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, they're better when he's under center and they run the ball and can do play action. When you see how much Brock Purdy's been under center doing play action, that when you hear people on TV, guys like Dan Orlovsky, ask for teams to put their quarterback under center more and do more play action. These are the types of things. Detroit is as good as anybody at it this year because they got a 2-headed monster at running back, they got a great offensive line, they got tight ends that block, and they got a quarterback who, once you do fake that handoff, can put it in places like this. Look at that window. There's all sorts of people coming. Reynolds, big courageous catch, goes up and gets it. But again, Jared Goff getting to the top of his drop, one hitch, boom, ball's out. In case you were wondering, that thing is spinning. And that is the best place to put that thing. Up on his eyes, let him come across the field and get it. Okay? Next play, Jared Goff in the all murdered out gray unis, which are super dope. I just like week by week became a bigger Detroit Lions fan this year. Part of it was the players on the field. Part of it is got some dope unis. All right, so here's Minnesota. Getting back to also a version of this Tampa 2. Okay, when you get in these condensed splits, okay, this you can call this, snug. You can call this a lot of different things, okay? So they're in this condensed, mirrored, look at this, okay? It's mirrored. It's the same. You can argue either way is the passing strength. Now, I think up top they got an extra lineman in, okay? So this is number 70. So heavy run, right? That's a good run. Bring in condense the splits down, put an offensive lineman in, and this personnel grouping as a tight end, so you have 6 linemen in, and then drop back and throw it, okay? And so look what's happening here. Okay? A lot of times when we run this, we're going to run inside release, and it's going to be called a read 4, okay, where if you can't go deep, you're going to run a curl right here, and if this guy gets flat-footed, then you're going to take it. And a lot of times it's mirrored. Then off that, you can have an out-breaking route on this. You can run in here and run a lock 7 where he comes back. There's a lot of different variations you can do. But right here, Goff sees Amon-Ra St. Brown up top, gets slipped. I'm not sure what this guy's doing, but It's one thing for the DB to be wrong. It's another thing for you to notice that he's wrong. And Jared Goff is able to go, wait a second, what is that guy doing? And rip this thing off his back foot to Amon-Ra in a position where Amon-Ra can go and get loose in the open field. Again, here's our big, heavy personnel grouping. We got 6 offensive linemen plus somebody who's probably 255 plus. Okay, we're pointing over here. A heavy play action look. It's funny, every time you run a play action, it looks like we should have just given it to him. It's wide open. It just works out that way. Okay. But Goff right here, wait. What's that safety doing? And then off his back foot, able to rip this thing to the sideline where Amon-Ra still has time to make a move. So, yes, we like dialing things up. We like running the ball down people's throats. But at the same time, when you can recognize that somebody's open and then get the ball out of your hands with timing and accuracy, that ends up being a big play. So let's peep these stats for a second, including the playoff. 5,411 yards, 67.6 completion percentage, 34 touchdowns against 12 picks, 97.9 rating, 60.3 on the QBR. So all the stats line up, okay? Compare him to other people. He's second in attempts. He's second in the NFL in yards behind Tua. He's third in first downs. He's fourth in touchdowns. He's 6th in PFF. So basically, these are going through all the rankings you care about, and he's top 10 in every single one of them, and some of them he's near the top. Intermediate passing game, tied for first with touchdowns with Josh Allen and Dak Prescott. First in yards for intermediate. They did a great job. They've got the personnel for it for sure. Laporta, the rookie tight end, that's a big area for him. And then compare him this season to other seasons. This was a career high in touchdowns. This was a career high in yards. And this is a career high in completion percentage. So he's not just balling compared to himself, he's playing the best football of his career. Okay, so now look at the contract. He's currently 3rd year of a 4-year deal from the Rams before he was traded, and it's worth $134 million total. Don't worry about him financially. He's just fine. So he's scheduled to make $27.3 million this coming year. I would assume there's going to be some discussions had with his agent and the front office there. And the extension, I'm assuming they're going to sign him to an extension, would be in the range of $50 million a year, similar to Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Jackson, Jalen Hurts, a lot of those guys, I think Allen as well. So Goff says, in regards to my future, it's not up to me, it's up to my representatives and obviously the people upstairs. So he's going to do everything right. If you've seen him, he's a roomie. He was on Kyle and I's podcast earlier this year, and we started off the show by saying most people don't realize that Jared Goff, amongst the NFL quarterback community, current and former players, he's a lot of dudes' like favorite dude. Like a lot of your favorite quarterbacks, he's like their favorite guy or one of their favorite guys. He's also just really well liked in that community. So that's Jared Goff. Let's switch over to Baker Mayfield. Another roomie was on our show earlier this season. To be honest with you, I've heard a million things about Baker Mayfield. I think everybody has. I've been around him a little bit. What I hear about Baker Mayfield from people who play with Baker Mayfield, especially other quarterbacks in the same room as him, it's unanimous, it's across the board. Everybody loves Bake. And he, again, former number 1 pick, traded, now his on, I think, his 4th team, and he's playing the best ball of his career, statistically speaking, and on the tape. Let's get into it. Before we get into the tape, let's talk about his stats on the front end. 4,700 yards, 64% completion percentage. Similar to Goff, 34 touchdowns, 12 picks. Similar passer ratings. Here's his season stats, aside from the playoffs. In attempts, 7th. Touchdowns, 7th. Average depth of target, 7th. 8th in first downs. And compared to his other seasons, it was a career high in touchdowns with 28, career high in yards with 4,000 plus, career high in completion percentage as well. All right, contract-wise for Baker, he signed a 1-year, $4 million deal. Now, I don't have it in front of me, but I saw things all season like he won a playoff game, he did this, he did that. I think he unlocked a bunch more. Hopes to return to Tampa, it sounds like. And at the same time, I would see maybe like a Geno Smith type contract potentially, which was $25 million a year average, $40 million in guarantees, 3 years worth up to $105 million if incentives were hit. So Baker, wherever he's at on that contract spectrum, he is deserving of a deal. He's deserving to be able to move into this offseason as the starter. Again, rewind it back like 10 months. He was competing all offseason with Kyle Trask, and I think somebody else they had there now is undisputed and is playing the best ball of his career. Speaking of the best ball of his career, let's take a peek at it. All right, here's the wild card round. How do I know? Because they write it on the field. And this is just an all-out pressure here. This is cover 0. There's only 3 guys left. Okay, this guy is essentially spying, and in case that tight end leaks late, he's got him man-to-man or the back leaks late. We're going to leave somebody free running up the A-gap. Running back's going to say, let me try and get this out here. And here's Baker going, I like my guy better than I like your guy. We can sit here and draw up all sorts of complicated things. But this is one of the things I love about Baker and a lot of guys is their ability to go, you know what? I'm going to give my guy a chance. This is hard. it's hard on this DB. This guy's back's turned to us. We're throwing it up. And this is Chris Godwin. It's actually a great ball. This is Chris Godwin going, I'm going to track this thing. And I mean, it's really uncontested. So Baker sees it at 0. He's given some sort of check here. Okay. Pre-snap, this could be a lot of different things. Baker sees it coming. Unfortunately, we ID'd him as the Mike. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we're going to essentially have 4 down. These 5 have these 5. But unfortunately, this linebacker has this back, so he's not coming. This is actually the dude that's coming. So what happens is this left tackle here, these guys are going to fan out, okay? The left guard, left tackle, okay? They're going to fan out. Center has somebody head up on him. He's got to stay big on big. And then it's these 2 guys right here for essentially these 3 guys right here, okay? And so you can see this right guard and right tackle, they kind of get hemmed up here. So they should be passing that off. The center's on an island. This right guard should be helping here. Tackle should be coming out. And this back should be going 1 to 2 and scanning back inside. So I think honestly the back's just a little bit late. We typically don't want to leave somebody coming in the A gap. So there's different ways to do this. But either way, Tampa's wrong. Baker and Chris Godwin are right. Just throw that thing up and give our guy a chance to make a play. And when it left his hand, I'm sure everybody in the stands was like, oh no, this is going to get picked. You don't realize how hard that is when you turn that DB's back like that. Okay? Let's look at another one. This is Minnesota. If you look at this route right here, okay, let's look at Mike Evans here. Okay? So he's going to seam release, we call this, get vertical, nod to the outside, and then take it vertical. So casual fan will go, oh, that's a post. Kinda. What it is we're selling this as a lock 7 or a bench route, or there's different things you can call it. But when this guy goes out, this guy's going, all right, I've seen this combination before. You're going to inside release. That guy's going to run essentially a flat route. All right, I know where this is going. And we are isolating this dude, but you got to make this decision pretty quick. Baker's really only going 3 and a hitch. So Baker's hands are coming apart right here. So what he's looking at is, 1, is there nobody robbing this in the middle of the field? Yes. So let's go back and look at what they're doing up top. Okay. Up top, you're going to run something similar because I need this safety to get the hell out of here and be influenced. So we're doing that. Oops. We're doing that with some sort of little choice route. Okay. So clear. Just watch up top for a second. All right. 2-man concept. They're getting from, this is Harrison, it's a free safety, and he's basically, this is an invert, so they're getting to really like a cover 3, or you could argue like a Tampa 2. If I hit pause right here, it would look like safety, they have cover 2. Mike linebacker is the Tampa linebacker. He's got hook to curl, they've got flat. That looks like Tampa 2, but look at how they're getting to it. Baker's not confused, by the way. Start in single high, invert. So Baker's got to know that Harrison, who by the way is like in the Pro Bowl every year, is not going to pick this thing off. So Baker's hands come apart right here. So he's already realized that the depth of that defender and the leverage, he's outside because again, he's jumping this sail route down here to Evans, and Evans just really gets vertical out of it, and Baker puts this thing on his chest. Let's see what Baker feels. Again, this safety right here, if he stays in the middle of the field, you can't throw this. In fact, you got to check it down. Baker sees him drive a little bit to the right. He's out of the position. Boom. Puts this thing up and over. Big play to Mike Evans. Mike Evans had some big plays. Mike Evans had some drops. But these dudes are on the same page. And again, I kind of went through Baker's stats. Long story short, he's playing the best ball of his career right now, and he's doing it in a contract year on a team that's heading in the right direction. Unfortunately, he's lost his offensive coordinator. Canales takes the head gig in Carolina. He's had success in multiple systems. Again, I can't stress it enough. Everybody who's played with Baker and spent time with Baker all says the exact same things. Bake is the man. His teammates in Tampa are saying that. We'll see what the front office says when it's time for contract negotiations. If they say that Baker's the man, and my prediction is that he signs a solid deal and picks up this next season where he left off this year. Real quick, I want to talk about the Summit Tour. If you're watching this video, you've probably heard me talk about it before, but very specifically, we spend from 8:30 in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, half on the field, half in the classroom. We talk about leadership, we talk about what goes into building a career, building an off season, addressing mechanical issues, how to communicate, what are relevant characteristics for a young quarterback. And the reason I use the word transformative, and I say it's a transformative weekend, is all the time we're going to do on the field, you're going to leave and know exactly what you need to get better at. I can't say that about other camps. In the classroom, you are going to look at the position through a different lens and better understand what you need to do to reach those goals that you've laid out. And oh, by the way, I'm going to help you with goal setting as well. So yes, we're going to throw a bunch, we're going to learn a bunch, but specifically, you are going to be much more equipped to continue on your off season once you come and spend 2 or 3 days with me on the Summit Tour.